I'm Lindsey Burrow. I'm the wife of Rob Burrow, and in 2019 Rob was unexpectedly diagnosed with motor neuron disease, which is a life-limiting condition that affects the brain and the spinal cord. And over the last 3.5 years, Rob has worked tirelessly to campaign to raise awareness for people diagnosed with MND and for the MND community. He's opened his doors to the reality of living with MND, and he's showed just how it affects, not just a person but the whole family. Yeah, I think the hardest part really is seeing the physical deterioration in Rob. Rob has gone from, being pound for pound probably one of the strongest rugby players in the squad to now being in a situation where he's not able to feed himself, he's not able to communicate, to speak, he's not able to dress himself, to walk. So having all that taken away is heartbreaking. I think from Rob's point of view, he would say it's not being able to be the dad that he wants to be, not being able to read the children a bedtime story, not being able to give the children a kiss and cuddle, things that you and I probably take for granted. And I think it's really made us appreciate the small things in life. And I think having that taken away from you, because Rob has always been such a family man, so that's the hard part. I think, people have been so supportive, and as I mentioned, the outpouring of love and support for Rob has been, incredible, and it's been quite overwhelming at times, I think, but just being there and showing, the kindness and that people care. I think that the lengths that people have gone to raise funds, to raise awareness. We often get stopped in the street and people will say, thank you for all you're doing, and to kind of think that you're making a difference, to try and give people hope, I think is really important. So, yeah, we're just really grateful for the support we've received. Yeah, I think what we've been told is that when people are diagnosed with illnesses such as MND or other illnesses, that friends disappear, people don't come and turn up anymore. And for me, I think it's really important that that person is treated with respect and dignity. For me as a parent, we've always kind of said we want our children to have a normal upbringing. I don't want the children treated any differently, so I don't want them, if they do something wrong, then they'll be told that they've done something wrong. I don't want them having any special treatment. So I think just to be treated as an individual and respect that person, I think is really important, and not to be condescending, and not to, just those things that people I think sometimes mean well, but I think that person just wants to be treated as a human and as that person before. I think because we're in a really fortunate position, because we've been so well supported by the rugby league community, by friends and family, and I think that's really important that people have that support. And I think it's very hard to get into a situation where you don't have that support. Then that's where those dark days come in and those dark thoughts come in. So for us as a family, I think we feel really fortunate that we've opened our doors, and the public support on the back of that has been so inspiring, really. And I think it kind of almost kind of gives you a purpose, and you kind of think, just to help another family, because we're really fortunate that we've had that. Some families, I'm aware, don't have that support mechanisms in place, and it can be a very dark and lonely place to be in. The children have been brilliant, and I think they're very much like the dad. They've shown the courage and the bravery and the resilience that that Rob, I think, has instilled in all of us, because he's been such a tower of strength for the whole family, and he just has this positive mindset that he battles on and he won't give in till his last breath. And I think the children, they wake up every morning with beautiful smiles on their faces, and they're a reason to keep going. They keep us going as much as anything. And life's so busy because they're just doing things all the time, that it's just I think in many ways keeps us all going. The community has been incredible, and we're so grateful for the support that we've received since Rob's diagnosis. I think the outpouring of love and support for Rob has just been incredible, and to kind of see that effect that you've had, and you kind of think, well, if telling your story helps one other family, then that can only be a good thing, and that was what Rob wanted to do. He had the goal of raising that awareness of helping the other, the next person that gets diagnosed with MND. That was the aim of what Rob wanted to do. And I think to go out there at a time when you're at your most vulnerable, to kind of show people the reality of the disease is a really courageous and brave thing to do. Yeah, the support of Dodie has been a real turning point for Rob. Rob met up with Dodie quite early on in his diagnosis, and he came back with he just instilled in him some hope, and there was just that, I'm going to fight this disease head on, and I accept this as a diagnosis, but I'll fight the prognosis. When Rob was diagnosed, he was told that he'd have 1 year to 2 years to live. So for Rob to still be here, still fighting 3 years after his diagnosis, I think that's, just his mentality and his unwillingness to give in to the disease. So Dodie has just been, the great late Dodie Weir has just been such an inspiration to Rob, and a tower of strength, I think, when he needed it most. My advice to any family that's faced with a difficult circumstances or adversity is to never give up hope, and I think just to live life to the fullest, and nobody knows what's around the corner, nobody knows what path we're going to take, and it's just appreciating the small things in life, because I think in time to come those will be the big things that you remember, and I think just being grateful for what we have and living life to its fullest.